Brian.
And we are
Those annoying vegans. What's up?
Hey.
It's episode 2.
Yep, and we're about a day late, I think, but I'm actually really happy that we waited because I had a kind of a shitty emotional sort of last few days. Just, we just started doing all this social media activity and
like the kids do.
Yeah, like the millennials are doing nowadays.
Those crazy kids.
But yeah,
we're technically millennials.
Part of spreading our message involves spending a lot of time online in forums and discussing and sharing and oh gosh, I was just like, coming across these incredibly ignorant, hurtful comments and and the thing is, and people get into them, and a lot of them from people who eat meat, kind of hating on vegans, and that's kind of the the only thing I think that is difficult about being vegan. It's not giving up the meat. It's not even giving up the cheese. It's not going to friends' houses and figuring out what you can eat, No, it's dealing with these people who are hating on us for actually wanting to do something that is right.
Well, yeah, it's like on the Vlog Brothers channel on YouTube. If you guys want to check out Vlog Brothers, Hank Green, I believe is his name. He also hosts SciShow. That's how I discovered him. But he has this video called "Why Vegetarians Are Annoying," or "Why Vegans Are Annoying," or "Why irritating," or "Why Vegetarians Are Irritating," or something along those lines. And the video took a very different turn from the way that I thought it was going to go, where he said, like, the reason they're annoying is because they are standing up for what they believe in a society that does not support them at large.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know that it's necessarily, it's not that people are like mean to us. People do say mean things. Like, people do say mean things or insensitive things.
Yeah, insensitive more so.
Crass sort of like, what the fuck are you gonna do? That.
Because bacon.
Because bacon.
Because bacon.
Because bacon's awesome.
Oh, excuse me.
And we both had bacon.
I wasn't listening. I was cooking my steak or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, anything to that extent.
Or you get the are you guys gonna be bothered if I sit here and eat this delicious steak? Not really. I've
been around that.
I've eaten steak
before.
myself. I know what a person eating steak looks like.
Yeah.
And I know what steak smells like. And I know what bacon tastes like. I know that people like bacon. And,
Yeah, we used to eat meat.
We used to eat meat. And now we eat, like, tempeh bacon and bacon bits and veggie bacon strips.
Right,
and,
right.
That's the thing, too, is that, like we always talk about, is that the taste of meat rarely has anything to do with the meat.
Right.
It's usually in the seasoning and the
Well, I mean, you have to take into account the fact that, these animals, they, if anyone, and here's, well, that'll be a side point, but if anyone has the heart, the desire, the curiosity, the impetus to watch one of these videos, the videos I'm talking about, the ones no one wants to watch because no one wants to know, because no one wants to feel bad. And that is understandable, but it is happening anyway. So whether you want it to or not, it is happening. And these animals are not they're not living sanitary. What am I trying to say? They're not
living in sanitary
conditions. Yes. Mm-hmm. So what has to happen to that meat? Sometimes, where was it that we learned that meat was ground up? Oh, right. The
animals, meat starts to spoil.
If the animal dies and it starts to spoil and it's diseased, it can't be packaged in the traditional way that it's packaged. So that's the meat that ends up ground up in your soups, in your you know, in your can.
It was like with the chickens, yeah.
Yeah, the chicken video.
Because a lot of chickens, they get bruised, they get broken bones, they get deformities because they're forced to walk on wire cages. So, like, if you were put in a 6 foot by 6 foot cell that was comprised only of metal bars.
And you were stuck in there with about 20 other humans.
Right, so you just have to balance on metal bars for your entire life.
With your bare feet.
With your bare feet. So a lot of the times the meat will be not attractive looking. It'll be bruised, it'll be discolored, it'll be, you know, disformed or whatever. Deformed. I'm making up words on the podcast. So that doesn't look good under the clear cellophane as like a chicken breast. You know, it doesn't look like what people think of as a chicken breast. So they grind it up and they put it in chicken nuggets, soups, like you said.
And even those
grind up the beef and put it in hot dogs.
Even those that end up packaged in the traditional way are still washed with, you know, very harsh chemicals, and it looks pink, which is very strange. Think about it. Like, how far does this meat need to travel in order to, like, if you think about a human body and what a human body looks like when it's dead, it's probably leaning more towards the brownish, purplish sort of, you know. Right. And we've seen dead animals.
Vibrant pink is not what comes to mind.
We've seen dead animals on the road. I mean, they're doing things to that meat to make it look appealing and taste appealing.
And preserve.
I mean, yeah.
You need preservatives in food if it's getting trucked in from wherever.
Idaho
or Iowa or Kansas or wherever. And that's the thing where, like, we, you know, how you said at the top, like, the ignorance. It's kind of what I've discovered is that it's not, I don't think a lot of these comments are coming from a place of ignorance. I think they're coming from a place almost of guilt and shame. Because people aren't ignorant to what goes on at a slaughterhouse. That's why they don't want to watch the videos.
Right, but even if they know,
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, but even if they know, and even if it's uncomfortable, they don't care enough.
Right.
To try and listen.
Well, and sometimes I guess you're right, because sometimes it is from a place of ignorance. Whereas, like, you know, I didn't know, for example, that male baby chicks are just ground up alive.
Right.
Because they are. Like hens give hens are forced to lay multiple
quote
eggs.
Unquote useful.
Hens are useful because they lay eggs. Roosters, not so useful. You need a couple roosters to, like, impregnate the hens. But
well, they're not impregnating the hens.
But they're not.
People are impregnating.
The people usually, like, it's usually artificial, and that's for cows as well. So, like,
well, the hens are laying eggs anyway, because that's what they do. They're just laying way more eggs than you would in a regular, you know,
in a regular lifetime.
Yeah, in a year, a hen. What did it say? A hen should be laying up to
12
or 13 eggs
like us.
A year, like us. Like, that's
like
how
humans.
That's how our menstruation, our periods work. But they are actually laying closer to it's in the hundreds.
I think.
Yeah.
200.
And they are spent.
It's
imagine what it would be like to have your period every day. That would suck.
Every day.
Wow.
I mean, 200 a year is almost one a day. It's a little less than one a day, but like, you know, but like, just like male cows are not as useful as female cows.
Right.
Like, male cows are useful in that we need a little bit of sperm so that we can impregnate the females, but we don't really need male cow. Like, they don't produce milk.
No, if the cows are born male, they go to the veal factory.
They usually just get killed for veal, and then the male baby chicks usually just get ground up for whatever, I don't know, chicken nuggets or just waste. Sometimes they just throw them out.
They get made into pellets, remember? And it said that they feed the pellets back to the chickens.
Yeah.
And back to the cows. Aw, Gracie May.
In a very Matrix way. Yeah, come on in.
Come here, see. Come on, honey. But no, what I was going to say
is
very
that the Matrix, you know? How in the Matrix the human beings were ground up and fed intravenously back to the humans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was weird. Oh. But, yes, my love, come here. Come here. This is Gracie.
We're not.
You want to say
We're not
hi?
podcasting or anything. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. You can walk on the laptop. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, what I was gonna say about the. We watched this video, and there's always something new to learn. You think you've seen it all, but you haven't. There's always something new, something crazy that people are doing to these poor creatures without their consent. I mean, every living creature wants to live. Is that not a fact? Like, an animal isn't born in nature.
Gracie wants to live.
Yeah, Gracie wants to.
Gracie wants to make a lot of noise on the podcast.
Okay.
Are you in or out, baby May?
Doors make cats very anxious.
Closed doors. Yeah.
All right. So animals are born, and the first thing they do is that which they need to do in order to survive. There is not a single animal in nature, I don't think, just sitting there waiting to die or wanting to die. I don't think, especially a painful, horrible death, they don't want to live horrible lives. I mean, I just don't understand where the And by the way, if I haven't mentioned it before, this whole phenomenon has a name. It's called I can't pronounce it. Speciesism.
Speciesism?
No.
Speciesism?
Jesus Christ.
Speciesism?
Speciesism. Yes, it is a legitimate term that means
Really?
that we consider ourselves more important than other species. And that is a form of discrimination, which, God, it really...
It's willful, though. It's willful. Because if you were... Everybody has a pet that they love. Most people have pets that they love.
Yeah.
Sociopaths and serial killers, they start killing cats and dogs at a young age, and then you have to go like, hold on. Like, that's literally a mental problem. Is disassociating empathy or, not being able to empathize with the feelings of another person. But the vast, vast, vast majority of human beings understand empathy. We understand it with babies. We understand it with cats. We understand it with dogs.
But we are selective of...
We understand it with rabbits and guinea pigs. And...
We are selective of the empathy that we feel. And for what?
It's cultural. And I mean... I'm like the number one person that goes around screaming like, like, fuck what has happened in the past or fuck what culture tells you to do. Like, have your own idea, have your own thought, have your own blah, blah, blah. And that's the ultimate, like, hypocritical thing for me to say because my whole life I was raised on meat, ate meat. I knew what chickens were, Mm-hmm. I knew chickens were chickens. I knew pigs were pigs and cows were cows. Still ate hamburgers, still ate bacon, still ate buffalo wings.
I did too, but it was weird.
You're indoctrinated into the culture. Yeah. It's part of the culture. It's fine.
You don't think it's
fine.
Weird.
Cows are on the pasture, and we murder them every once in a while for hamburgers. That's cows. That's what they do. Like it's this very disassociated thing.
Yeah, but you know what's strange is that people are like, oh my God, the dolphin. If anyone's watched The Cove, and
Blackfish, right? Was that
no. Blackfish is orca whales.
Orca whales.
Yeah, the captivity. But The Cove is a very, very informative, very eye-opening, very painful documentary to watch. That centers around the yearly massacre of dolphins at this cove in Japan. And oh my God, we are all outraged. The dolphins, how could they? Blah, blah, blah. They sell them in store. But
Cecil the lion. How could you, right?
Yeah. But no, the point being, we go crazy over, oh my gosh, the dolphin's getting killed. And yet, what are the Japanese are going to say? Well, you guys eat cows. You guys eat chicken. Like, we eat dolphin. Like, where is the difference?
There isn't one.
There isn't one. I've heard people say like that. I've heard people argue. Well, animals aren't intellectual beings like us. Like we can't. We can compose. Music and we can do this and that. And
But that's not for us to...
Not everybody can. I can't compose a symphony,
Well, no. And that's also not for us to decide. And I said this to you in the car, and I'll bring it up now, is that I'm a big comic book fan. I like superheroes. I like Ninja Turtles. I don't think that Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel Comics, for those that don't know, he created X-Men, Hulk, Spider-Man, all the famous Marvel characters. In the Spider-Man comic book, there is this line that has become something of legend. It is, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And it's not... What's going on here?
My audio just... You keep going. I'll figure it out. I think I unplugged my... There we go.
Oh, okay. It's not with great power comes great responsibility, which is what it has turned into in the cinematic world. The comic book quote is, Peter Parker realized that with great power, there must also come great responsibility. Meaning, if you have the power to do good things, you have a responsibility to do them. Because you're the one with the power to do them.
Right.
And we have sort of lost we've lost the idea, as Louis C.K.'s stand-up bit said, like, we're no longer in the food chain. We don't have that fear of being prey. Even though on the planet we are prey.
It is hard for us to empathize with being victims.
Right. Because we aren't victims anymore. But I think there's still part of our caveman...
And by victims, we mean, like, just going out on the street and getting eaten.
Getting eaten alive.
Or shot.
Or fearing for your life on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Like, fearing that you will be consumed by another larger, more violent animal.
Right.
Doesn't really factor into most people's day-to-day activities. Like, somewhere between the Fallout 4 and the celebrity lip sync battle, we've sort of lost the idea that we're animals on this planet just like all the other animals, and we're not prey anymore. But we still have that in the back of our caveman brain somewhere, because when we go watch The Revenant with Leo getting attacked by a bear, or we go watch Gladiator where Gerard Butler, was it Gerard Butler? Gladiator. No, Russell Crowe, sorry. Where we go watch Russell Crowe fight a tiger. There's still part of our, like, caveman brain that is like, holy shit, that would be scary.
Yeah.
Because that just a human being naked in a ring with a naked tiger, you're going to lose. Like,
well, tigers are usually naked.
But by naked, I mean, yeah.
Unarmed?
Yeah, I mean, no weapons, no gadgets,
right.
no armor.
Well, they have weapons. They're called
shield.
Claws and teeth.
And we don't have those weapons.
No, we don't.
We don't have fangs. We don't have claws. We don't have the things that other predators have. We are prey.
Right.
And part of our brain still understands that, even though we don't deal with it on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
And so being removed from that, sort of has distanced us from that relationship to the other animals, but we still feel the empathy that we used to feel. Then we still feel when it comes to certain animals. We've just sort of drawn this weird line.
These lines to justify.
But we also don't like our meat food to look like meat food. And there was an article that you and I read about, like, we don't have that instinct. Like a house cat or a mountain lion like natural predators.
Like a cat.
Like cats in general.
Sees a mouse or a pigeon or a bird and
an insect.
They want to go after it because it is appetizing. They see it and,
they see it, they want to tackle it, bite its throat, kill it, and eat it. Like, that's an urge that is within...
Or drop it in front of your door.
Yeah, but kill it, slaughter it, and bring it to you and say, look what I got you. Like, that, we don't have, like...
We don't look at it...
We don't see a rabbit and go, like, I gotta kill it!
You don't even... I guarantee you don't even look at a cow and say...
I gotta kill that thing.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Holy wow. That cow looks so delicious. No.
Right.
No, who does that? I mean,
you don't look at a pig and go, I gotta murder that thing.
Yeah,
I gotta eat it.
Oh, gotta have it.
You don't. I mean, but we've
even worse. We look at, people look at not me, definitely not me. People look at dead flesh in a plastic wrap and think that might make a good dinner.
Yeah.
And
well, we've found a way
weird.
to
weird.
found a way to prepare it and make it tasteful, and that goes back to the evolution argument that we get all the time.
The evolution
Did we evolve
argument
to eat meat, you know?
Oh, that is an argument. Here's the thing. So here's where I stand on this, because you could go on so many different tangents on this argument, because we've heard it so many times. Yes, okay, we evolved to eat meat.
But I'm not sure what that...
I'm not... Yeah, I don't know what it means either, because just because you evolved to do something, just because you can digest it and poop it out like everything else, because you do poop out soda and you do poop out sugar and all these other preservatives and processed foods, and it, you know, your body still handles it. You don't know. That's another thing.
You can also eat
have
paper
empathy. Have
and
empathy
coins.
for your organs. You don't know what's going on in there. I mean, you see it on your blood tests and all that, but it's just because we can do it doesn't mean it's good for us. I mean, just because we can lift 50 pounds over, you know, like just because I can do those, what do you call the
isolated bicep curl? What are you talking about?
But like I can manage with however many pounds doesn't mean I should push myself to, like, I don't know. It's just...
Well, I think it's a testament to the adaptability of the human design, which is a brilliant piece of natural machinery, the human body.
Mm-hmm.
It's very adaptable. It's very like malleable. It's very durable. The human body can take so many different shapes and forms, and it can do so many different amazing things depending on what fuel you put in it and what stresses you expose it to. Like, the human body can do so many miraculous things. But again, I would go back to the argument of choice. If you have the choice to not participate in an industry that is not only, you know, morally reprehensible, but it's also like fucking up the planet.
Yeah.
And you have the choice.
And before moving on from that, going back to the evolution part of it, I mean, people say, oh, we evolved to eat meat, but did we also evolve to lack complete compassion and empathy when it comes to how that meat... Don't forget, we used to hunt animals. We don't hunt animals anymore. Some people do. They do because they live in that kind of environment and they don't have a choice, and that's their food source. But we're not doing that anymore. We're not, and those people tend to have way more. It's, you know, like I'm not for killing any animals, but I do understand that some people live in the tundra and that's their food source. And still my heart goes back to the place where it's like, well, you could move. Why don't you just move? We're
definitely not from the tundra.
No.
We're from the plains of Africa.
But then I'm like, okay, no. Calm down. They can't. Maybe they can't move, and that's just devil's advocate. Let's pretend that's all the choice that they have. They are still hunting the animal and being very sort of aware and caring and conscious about how they do it and how, you know, we don't do that. We are processing them by the millions. We have killed, I read this somewhere, I read this week, we have killed, we think like the Holocaust and all these genocide wars were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's how many animals die every day.
Oh, yeah.
Like total, every day. Yeah. That's not...
I think it's on average, every American eats like 30-some animals a year. Every single individual is responsible. Yeah.
Yeah. There's another stat. If you go vegan, completely vegan, you're saving 96 animals a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Think about
when you factor in like eggs and dairy and in addition to the meat and all. Yeah. It's 96 animals per person.
Picture yourself at the age of 80 in a farm with, well, by then, I mean, multiply with like hundreds of animals surrounding you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, I remembered now my point about the Marvel thing because I lost my train of thought.
Oh yeah, sorry. This podcast is all about. Sorry, that peaked.
Yeah. No, you're all right.
We're still getting used to this. This podcast is all about tangents, so forgive us if we leave a point unfinished. We will pick it up at some
We'll
point.
try to remember. Yeah. My point is that in that I remembered with the choice thing, because we lost the sense of being prey once we invented like bows and arrows and spears, and we figured out a way like, hey, let's just shove the woolly mammoth off the cliff. Like, we'll get 12 dudes to just come and scare the thing, and we'll shove it off. We developed a way. We bested nature, and that's what human beings are very good at doing, for better or for worse. Like, human beings are very good at
manipulating.
Well, what I like about the human spirit is that we are adventurous. We are problem solvers. We are social creatures. We work together.
Yeah.
So
we
say like
about human.
So we say
mankind.
like, what's across that ocean? You can't go in the ocean, man. It's dangerous. Well, I'm going to. We invented boats. Now we can cross the ocean. Well, what's like, hey, we don't have anything to eat. Well, what if I eat that buffalo? You can't kill the buffalo. Like, I figured out a way to. Everywhere from that all the way to like, what's on the moon? Let's go to the moon. You can't go to the moon. Fuck that. We're going to the moon. Like, we have this adventurous,
drive,
besting nature spirit that we just say, oh, it's impossible. Fuck that. It's not impossible. It is possible. Anything's possible. Someday we're going to say, we're going to go to Alpha Centauri. You can't go to Alpha Centauri. It's 4 light years away. How are you going to do that? Fuck that. We're going. Like, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. And so we figured out a way to best Mother Nature. And we came up with weapons, and we came up with strategy. And now we are the masters of this planet. We have figured out a way to have dominion over all the other animal species, meaning that we have the power over the animals. Thus, there must also come the responsibility. So we have the power to just destroy between nuclear weapons and mass extinctions. That if there weren't like poaching laws and hunting laws and shit, like way more species would just be gone, right? Because that's what human beings do.
Well, there are still laws, and see,
we show up and we just decimate the planet. Because we have the power not to, it is our responsibility. Or because we have the power to do so, it is our responsibility not to. And you were saying that I am...
You are... I completely forgot.
I am more optimistic? Is that where you were going?
Yeah, I think you're more... You tend to be more optimistic. And...
I'm Professor Xavier and you're Magneto?
Yeah, and that's why I'm happy we're recording this today, because I'm actually feeling a lot more optimistic today. Just, seeing that there are actually... It's funny because... I don't know, 10 years ago, this whole veganism, vegetarian, saving animals movement wasn't really I think it was at the onset of social media made it a thing, because now we're all discovering that there are people all over the world like us that support this cause. And I feel, like recently I've noticed people are like, I think I'm going to try this, I'm going to try. And they're very receptive. There are some people who are very receptive and who I didn't expect to be receptive, just out of the woodwork, come out and say, we have a few friends who are trying the vegan thing. I think we have 5, I counted today, 5 total friends since we started, which is a lot. Because,
it's a lot.
And even people don't understand that the veganism thing too, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. No. It's this. We watched this.
Gene Bauer, Meatless Monday.
Yeah, or that guy. What's his name?
Wayne Pacelli or Wayne Pacelli.
Yeah, he does vegetarian.
He's for the Humane
no.
Society.
The guy who does vegetarian.
Weekdays. Oh! I don't know. I don't remember. There's a guy that has a TED Talks about being a weekday vegetarian. Yeah,
and he says on weekends he does whatever he wants. So. Anything,
but cutting meat out 5 days a week
it's a lot.
It's a massive amount of
It's a lot.
savings.
And because here's the thing, Americans are consuming more meat than they have ever done before in history, and that is why they're called. You know what a factory is, right? A factory. Can you picture a factory where they make clothes, where they make whatever?
Make tires.
Now you have animal factories where they're just processing animals
as a commodity.
They're processing animals as a commodity, and it is causing it's ravaging the planet.
Yeah, which is what I liked about the Cowspiracy documentary, which we said we'd reference last time, which is that even if you want to place these morals aside and sort of talk about all the other different problems, it's not only a problem of morals, but I do think that's a big thing that people just sort of put blinders onto. But if you shut that off, you're left with greenhouse emissions and the fact that we're tearing down forests and we're just clearing land, because the thing is that you have to feed your food.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of intelligent.
It's causing world hunger. We are using so much grain to feed our food that we could be using to feed other people. What does it say here?
I mean, here you've got
Okay, so climate change. How's it affecting climate change? Let's look at global greenhouse gas emissions. 51% of global greenhouse gas emissions are due to livestock and their byproducts. 13% are due to the combination of every form of transport on the planet. That includes roads, railroads, air, boats, marine.
Yeah, cars. I mean, if you're one of these people that is like, oh, you drive a gas guzzling car, you need to think about greenhouse emissions. Do you want to let her in again?
Yes, Gracie.
It's definitely being picked up on the microphone.
Come here, baby man.
Come
here, my baby.
We talk about that a lot in this country, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta drive a Prius.
You gotta have your Prius.
You gotta drive a hybrid.
I have a Prius.
I have a Prius right now too, because I'm getting a loaner Prius at the moment.
Come.
Yes. Come. Yes, baby. So, you want to talk about hey, we're smogging up the planet. You know what's super duper smogging up the planet? Almost 5 times as much as all cars and airplanes and trains and buses.
Yep.
Is
livestock.
The raising livestock is, so if you're
so in order to raise livestock, it's 1 to 2 acres of rainforest is cleared every minute to make way for farmland.
Right. Because you not only have to have room to raise the livestock, but you also have to have room to grow the crops to feed the livestock.
So according to Cowspiracy, 91% of animal agriculture is responsible for the destruction of the Amazons.
Right.
91%.
91% of Amazon destruction
numbers.
is because of raising of livestock.
Yep.
So if we stopped raising livestock, we would have 91% more.
Sorry, Gracie.
Yes, Gracie.
She's
you are quite active today on the podcast.
She's purring into the...
Yes.
Oh, yes, you want to say hello?
Are you saying hello?
We are discussing facts,
all the
Gracie.
People?
Yeah.
To all the people?
This is for you and all of your kind.
Right. Now, you and I live in California,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not a lot of... I don't know how many of the listeners live in California, but we talk a lot about saving water,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everything is all about you got to shorten your showers and you got to stop watering your lawns and which are all good ideas.
Right.
But we're
not touching on the actual source of the problem.
Right. When you consider that the meat and dairy industry use 1/3 of the Earth's fresh water,
mm-hmm.
Again, you can shorten your showers all you want and you can stop watering all the lawns that you want. We're using a fuck ton of water because you know who also drinks water? Cows and pigs and chickens. And there's a lot of water being used to also water crops.
water the crops. Yeah.
To feed the food.
Yep. And on top of I was going to add to the clearing of the rainforests.
Mm-hmm.
And this is incredible to me. I don't know. I mean, how... Yeah, I can't even conceive of it because there must be a bunch of animal species because apparently 110 animal and insect species are lost every day from the destruction of rainforests. Now, that sounds pretty incredible, but that's a fact.
Yep.
Yep.
A lot of things live in the forest that we're clearing out so that we can grow crops.
If you watch, I forget which documentary was it. I'm trying to think. It was Forks Over Knives. There are these my gosh, these poor people, these poor people in the Midwest, and they happen to live near farm factories, and farm factories have these giant pools of waste. They're called cesspools. They have another name, I forget right now, but these cesspools, they have a limit to how much they can be filled. So what they end up doing is they drain these cesspools by spraying the contents into the air, into the land around it. And what happens is these particles of all this toxic shit, methane.
The spraying, what they're spraying, by the way, is piss and shit.
And miscarriages and pus and blood. I mean, to get it's true, but to get graphic, carcasses. This is all being sprayed into the air. These poor people are actually experiencing the repercussions of inhaling these nauseous airs. They get migraines, headaches, nauseous every day. It smells terrible. Not only is the smell, but it's causing cancer. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's a lot of waste. I mean, Cowspiracy has it at
7 million pounds of excrement produced by animals raised in farm factories.
That's every minute.
Every minute. 7 million pounds.
Mm-hmm. Because pigs and cows and chickens use the bathroom, just like we do.
Yep.
And when you cram thousands of them together into one area, it's got to go somewhere. It goes onto our planet. I mean, it's...
Yeah. You're talking about overpopulation, too? Like, if you're thinking overpopulation... How much of the world's surface is covered by just farm and livestock? I mean, just even flying in an airplane, you look down and you can just see farmland everywhere across the Midwest. 45% of the Earth's land is covered by livestock.
Yeah. And that's the thing that Wayne Pacelli on Real Time with Bill Maher brought up, is that we're living on a planet that is 70% covered by water. 30% of our planet's surface is land. Only 30%. Mm-hmm. The rest of it is water. And so 45% of the 30% is covered by livestock, leaving us only 55% of the 30% of the Earth's surface to live on. Like, the thing is that we're so small in comparison to a human being when compared to the size of the Earth. Yeah. We're so small. Yeah. And so you look out from the window of an airplane, or you look out, at the shoreline of a continent, or if you're on top of a hill, if you go for a hike and you just look out over the valley, and you're like, this Earth is enormous. It's enormous. Mm. So how could we possibly be fucking it up? We are. Yeah. Like, in reality, we are.
The thing is, these things happen behind closed doors. Nobody, and that was another thing I was going to bring up in a bit, but ag-gag laws, ag-gag bills. But all these things are happening in very remote places, places where people don't tend to frequent very often. They are fenced off. They are prohibited access to people because I guess they don't want you to know what's really going on. It's pretty sad. There are 7 states currently that have these ag-gag bills, and speaking of not wanting people to know what's really going on, which is such a demented like when I read about that, and this has been true for a few years now. Mm-hmm. These ag-gag bills, they literally punish people by jail time and excessive fines. They punish people for infiltrating the farm factories and posting video or footage or any sort of happenings within the walls of these farm factories on social media or anywhere else. So when animal abuse happens, the person who actually gets punished is the person who is trying to report it, which is so fucking strange to me. It's just absolutely completely illogical. And that's when I sit and I wonder, who are we? Who are these people? What are they doing?
Right.
Yes, my love, you want to go out again? We're going to have to figure something
It's going to be in and out all episode. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to you in the car about this, and I said, like, you know, I use this example, like, if you want to go to the DW factory, DW is a company called Drum Workshop. They are an American-made drum company. They're located here in Oxnard, California. If you want to go to the DW factory and see how the drums are made, John Good will let you. John Good runs DW. Like, he'll let you.
Yeah.
You can go in.
If you're proud of a business, why not?
You can go in. You can see how they shape the wood, and then they make the shells, and then, oh, this is maple, this is babinga, this is birch. You know, and if you want to build your own drum set, they'll let you pick the finish, pick the hardware, pick the plies, pick the thickness. And they'll show you, this is how we go from a piece of wood to a drum set. And they'll take you through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And if, like you said, if you're proud of your product, if you're proud of how it's made, if you would like to share that with people, mm-hmm. you may do so.
You might want to show it off.
Right. And so isn't it weird, mm-hmm. then, that there are companies, just like a factory farm here in the United States, they don't want you going through there.
Because they know whatever it is that you're going to see is going to turn you off from buying meat. Mm-hmm. For those of us who are sensitive and care about that sort of thing.
Right. So isn't that weird?
It is very weird.
We don't want you to see how our product is made because you might then
not buy
it. You might have a change of heart. You're not going to find anything like controversial at the DW factory. It's like, oh my God, it's like, no, they're making drums.
But you know what? I'm really proud of this has not stopped people from continuing to spread the message. Like, there are still occasional videos that pop up about, you know, abuse at just a terrible abuse happening, because you have to think about the fact that the people who work at these places, you have to be okay with killing animals, mm-hmm. With throwing baby chicks into grinders. You have to be okay with that. And that, to me, that there's something wrong with those people. Yeah. I will say it straight out. There's something fucking wrong with those people. Because how is that a natural thing? Those people were children once. Do you think as children, I mean, this is, you know, setting aside the category of serial killers, because I'm sure they were children.
The sociopath,
yeah. So, yeah, it's just setting those people aside, and who knows, maybe I'll...
Michael Myers and his ilk. We'll go ahead and put in this category over here.
Right. Those people were once children, and children are not born, that I know of, wanting to kill animals. They love, you know, if you teach them right, because that's the thing, people, just don't throw bacon on a child's plate without telling him or her where it comes from. There's this viral video going about right now of this little toddler, and everybody around him's laughing, because the baby's enjoying his bacon, and he's like eating it with his eyes closed, and he's like, oh, bacon. He's like 2. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, did you tell this boy? Does this boy, is he old? Like, have you explained? Like, carrots come from the ground, sweetie. That we eat carrots because they are grown in the bacon.
Is a slice of a pig's ass.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand how people, and I'm like, this is my podcast and I can say what I want. I don't understand how people are feeding their children meat without being honest with them, because they are contradicting and, what's the word I'm looking for? Contradicting and belittling their natural sense of compassion and empathy that they are born with into this world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. I'm going to go ahead and I'll call out Joe Rogan. He's not listening, and neither is Brian Bishop from the Adam Carolla Show, because both of them have brought up the example of neither of these two gentlemen that I can tell are anywhere close to being vegan, right? So Joe Rogan, he's a fucking hilarious comedian, and I agree with a lot of what he says. And I like Bald Brian from the Adam Carolla Show. But they both brought up the example of if you put a plate of milk in front of a cat or a dog, you know, they'll lap it up and oh my God, this is delicious. Making the argument that like, oh, really? We don't naturally crave milk? Have you ever put a bowl of milk in front of a cat? The cat will just lap up the milk. I don't really know how much water that argument holds because, as we've said many times, you can put a 2 liter of Coca-Cola in front of a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old will drink the whole 2 liter of Coca-Cola. Yeah. Does that mean that that's good for the 3-year-old? That the 3-year-old is supposed to drink that much Coca-Cola? Like,
you give it candy.
It's a sugary, saccharine, you know.
I say it, but I really mean he or she.
Right.
I'm just shortening it. A little boy or a little girl, you give them.
If you give them candy or sugar or if like salt, sugar, and fat, those are the 3 things that human beings are hardwired to crave. Right. Things that are fatty, salty, and sugary. Because those are the 3 main sources of where we get our energy that we burn in calorie form. You know, it's like, so we crave those things. Anything that's really, that's why salty French fries. Oh my God, salty French fries. And then McDonald's pairs that with a fatty hamburger with cheese on it. Oh, you get all the fat, all the fat, right? So you get the salt from the fries, you get the fat from the hamburger and the cheese, and then you get the sugar from the soda. So you've created this like trifecta of caveman brain. Like, oh my God, this is overload, right? It's overload. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. Yeah. And it certainly, sorry, I bumped the thing. And it certainly doesn't mean it's right. What?
No, sorry, you're peeking a little bit.
That's what I do. I peek mics.
We'll lower it a little bit.
So the fact that you crave something or the fact that you can eat something doesn't mean you're meant to eat it. We understand that when it comes to cookies and shit. I don't understand why we don't understand that when it comes
to meat.
And
you know, I think part of it, and I forget if we mentioned this before, but some people are genuinely completely in the dark about whether you can get protein elsewhere. Like, we've actually been, sometimes people ask in like shitty ways. They're like, oh yeah, so where do you get your protein? But some people actually ask like, oh, no, seriously. So, like, seriously ask. We've had older people that ask us like, so how do you guys get your protein? And we're like, happy to discuss. Everywhere else there is protein everywhere. And there are actually some people who don't know that vegan means all animal products, including butter,
milk,
eggs. There was an egg thing that I was going to discuss, because remember we talked about, you know, where we might actually be a little bit lenient with eggs. But there is a but. Let me start with this. Because I came upon a forum where this very nice woman was genuinely curious. She's like, but it's like I have a little chicken coop, and my chickens are very happy. We don't eat them. They live their natural lives. We just eat their eggs. And is that okay? And I chimed in. I was like, you know what? I think that's okay. I mean, you're eating, period, if that's okay with you. And that's okay. But here's the thing. A chicken, like any other animal, has a natural instinct and desire to want to birth those baby chicks and be a mother. I think animals have a desire to parent, or if it's instinctual, let it be instinctual. When the babies hatch, you're going to see that mother protect them and love them like a human would. So in a sense, it's like, well, if you're if you're letting, a couple of them fertilize and you're letting her experience motherhood, and you're just taking the other ones away, and you're not forcing, you're not impregnating her every, more often than you should.
Almost once a day or whatever.
Yeah. Then I guess I'm okay with that. I think. I mean, unless I might still be in the dark about an aspect of that I might need to learn about. But as it stands right now, as far as my knowledge goes, and that might be the only time that I would and you know, this is not, I'm not talking about pasture raised eggs, the eggs you see, the cartons at the store. You don't know the labels. Don't trust the labels. You don't know if these chickens, they might be pasture raised, but who knows? Maybe they
But they're allowed to have whatever artwork they want on their cartons.
Yeah, that's a fact. It's not a...
They can have a pretty picture of chickens roaming in a grassy field.
Even if it's
not be cage free at all. Like they can sort of lie to you legally, and that's fine according to the law. No, and I agree with. I mean, we were talking about the egg thing as like the problem is that we don't live in a like, you know, closed system. We don't live in like, well, if it were a perfect world, we would do X, Y, or Z. It's like yeah, if chickens do naturally give up X amount of eggs that are unfertilized, what's the harm in eating an unfertilized egg as long as you're cool with the fact that you're eating another animal's period? If you're cool with that, like you said, that's not. But the problem is that we live in a world where
that's not a reality in most
roosters
cases.
And hens aren't naturally impregnating one another or not impregnating one another, and there's not nearly enough naturally occurring period eggs to feed the millions of people that want eggs. Otherwise, eggs would be like $2,300 a piece or whatever the fuck it comes down to. So, you know, like, that's not the world we live in. So it's like, well, why should my natural eggs be? That's the world we live in. Like, the world we live in is this person has fucked it up for everybody else. Thus, you know, it's the same thing with gun laws, same thing with speed limits on the freeway, same thing with drug laws. It's like, I should be able to smoke weed at home by myself. It's like, you should be, but this person fucked it up for, you know. I should be allowed to go as fast as I want on the freeway. You should be, but this person fucked it up. Like, you know, like we live in a society where people fuck it up for other people. Right. Yeah. And you experience that all the time.
Yeah.
What? Sorry. Am I making noise?
It doesn't matter.
Sorry. Yeah. I don't know where we go from here.
I don't know either. I think we're about to wrap it up. But yeah, this might not have it's every episode's just gonna be whatever is on our minds that particular week. We don't have an outline. We're just talking.
Yeah. And the butter thing you mentioned. That's the thing that I find. It's like, all right, we wanted to do a video where we talk about easy vegan replacements.
Yeah.
Because some things are super easy to replace.
And they taste the same.
Remarkably easy to replace. Like milk and butter being two of the most simple, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's so many milk options out there. So many. Like soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, coconut milk. So many milk options. There's really no reason to buy milk.
Yeah.
Unless I don't know. Unless you're like absolutely hooked on the taste of whole milk, like vitamin D whole milk or something.
We don't need cow's milk. I read this today and I was like, oh wow, this was actually really well put. We don't need cow's milk any more than we need giraffe milk or zebra milk or fucking, I don't know.
Cat milk?
Cat milk? Jesus. Why?
Dog milk? Yeah. It's goat's milk. Like any of that milk. So yeah, we were at a function and brought vegan food along, and there were
a couple options.
There were vegan options there because as a vegan, you know, you'll run into this if you decide to even give vegetarianism or veganism a shot. Right away, you'll notice that like when you start going to social events, your diet is not really catered to or considered really. So. Like I said, like,
and you're also a little bit isolated. You are isolated. Not you, as in, like I don't feel isolated, but people isolate you.
Right, and that goes back to I think what we talked about last time, which is there is that sense of shame, there is that inner sense of guilt, but strength in numbers. Right. So you are one of the few weird people.
Yeah.
That don't eat meat or cheese or milk.
Oh, no,
So
and
you're the weird
God
ones,
forbid
right?
you're sitting at the table and you don't have meat on your plate. The first question they ask is, oh, so are you a
You
vegan?
don't eat meat?
You
Yeah.
don't eat meat? Like, yeah, no.
No.
Oh, I see you do.
Yeah.
Okay. End of story.
Well, is it going to bother you if I sit here and continue? No, it's not going to. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Anyways.
yeah. So it's like because the American diet has, like, the FDA and everybody else, like, has hammered home for the past, like, 60 plus years that meat and dairy are, there she goes, that meat and dairy are entrees, right? Mm-hmm. You need meat, you need dairy. Those are the entrees. And vegetables and fruit and grains are the side dishes, the rolls and the salads and the side of mixed fruit or whatever whatever you want to add to your meal. So you pull meat and you pull dairy out, and what most Americans feel is they feel like, well, all I'm left with is side dishes. Yeah. How am I supposed to construct a meal out of vegetables? Because we don't know how to do that. We're not in that culture. So
right.
So that's what you might run into if you go to these social gatherings. And so we were at one, and it was like, oh, this is very delicious, very delicious side of Brussels sprouts. And then we were informed that that's because they
are coated in butter.
Covered them in butter.
And then you feel like an asshole because you're like, oh, shit, well, that was delicious, but...
Right.
Had you told me before, I probably wouldn't have
have partaken.
Yeah.
Right. But
I guess that might have been an honest mistake. Maybe some people don't know that any animal product is vegan. Some people think that vegan means just
no
meat.
Yeah. No meat, no fish, no shellfish. That's another one too. It's like, actually my boss was like, you still eat fish though, right?
Oh.
When we went out to a sushi joint.
Yeah, tell me what tree they grow on and maybe...
Like, no, I don't eat fish.
I got my salmon from the salmon tree.
The salmon tree, right. Luckily, I don't even really like the taste of fish or seafood in general. Yeah. So I don't even run into that. But I know some people, like, they love lobster, they love crab.
I could never do lobster or crab.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to like, I'd eat clam chowder and I liked oysters and mussels, but I stopped because... Yeah. I just,
Because why?
Because I don't. Here's another. This is what we might pick up next time because we're running out of time. But just because I don't know. Just because nobody can say that an oyster is not thinking. I mean, we might say, oh, it doesn't have a nervous system or it doesn't have a brain.
Right.
But how do we know that the only way to think is with a brain? How do we know that oysters don't think with something else?
We only know
what we know.
And we don't know the experiences or the perceptions of it. I don't know what Gracie's thinking right now. I would love to know what Gracie's thinking.
Some people are very gifted in that sense, and you can actually learn to talk to animals. Just so you know, you can learn to talk to animals. There are methods. There are people who do, and I have been a witness to it because I have actually spoken with an animal communicator who communicated with my cats a couple years back, and it's not what you think. It was fucking impressive. Like, she knew things that were secrets to me. Like, things like Gracie loves Gracie loves how you smell when you come out of the bathroom, which is, sorry, it's a really weird detail, but when Gracie was a kitten, she would sit in on the toilet waiting for me to get out of the shower. Always, every time I went and showered, she would sit there and wait, and I would get out, and she would want to, like, when I leaned down to kiss her, she'd just kind of sniff me around. And it was one of those things that I was like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, hi, Gracie. Yeah. But someone pointed that out as a thing.
Right.
And I was like, whoa. Oh, yeah. Okay. Huh.
Anyone who has a cat or a dog or a rat or a rabbit or a pet pig, like, that these animals have thoughts in their head. They have emotions. They have things that they like. They have routines.
They don't just sit there. Cats especially. Cats, you see them, they sit and they sort of look like they're meditating.
Yeah.
I think they are. Like, they don't just sit there and it's blank. Like,
right.
No.
They must experience thoughts. They experience joy. They experience sadness.
And
you've seen that. You can visibly watch that.
You can visibly, where people, because that's incredible to me too. It's like I can visibly see when Gracie is happy. Kitty grass makes her happy.
Very happy, by the way.
Rubbing her makes her happy. Playing makes her happy. If she gets her claw caught on the screen door, that might cause a little bit of pain, and she will cry for help.
And moods, like
moods, yeah.
You know, you get like we recognize that, like oh, she's in a mood today. Like the same with children.
Yeah.
Like what's going on with her today? It's like she's in a thing.
Mood,
like
yeah.
So the synapses, something's firing in her head differently, and she has a personality and.
They're
a brain.
Complex. They have their own worlds, their own mind, their own. They are just like we do. The difference is I feel they understand us better than we understand them. That's the only. And that's where we can leave as Gracie.
There we go. As she's
lying down on top of the sound equipment. Is it warm, honey? Fine. It's too hot in here.
Yeah.
All
we
right.
can get out. What were we saying? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I could keep going, but let's...
We can keep going about this. That's what next episode is for, kids and kittens.
You should just sign off like that every...
That's
right.
right.
Right, kids and kittens, we're just going to sign off here.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Leave you with those thoughts.
You guys can always find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. If you'd like to send us a message, share your thoughts... We will
fight us. I mean, not fight us, but
fight us.
No. I mean, like
with fisticuffs.
We are open to genuine, curious questions and insults. I can't say I might insult you back because unless you were.
Can't say you won't.
No, I can't say I will because that is just not my way.
That's not your nature.
That's not my.
Anna.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's a lose-lose situation.
But we have had people genuinely ask us, and like we're not. It's funny. Like we have a cooking channel. Neither of us are chefs. We like food. Like most people likes food.
And we experiment.
And we experiment with food.
And it turns out well.
And yeah, it turns out well. And when it turns out well, we'll share the recipe on our YouTube channel. And if you guys have questions, like we've already answered many people's questions about replacements for things.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about the butter thing. Like Smart Balance, Earth Balance.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Ralph's, go to Kroger, get the thing. It's $3.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a pound of butter is $2.50, $2.79.
Yeah.
Like go get it, spread it on toast, bake with it, use it. Like if you have any questions about, I like this. What can I eat instead of this? Or what can I use instead of this?
Yeah.
Like we've
even found some incredible cheese replacements, and I am speaking seriously because it took me forever.
Very hard.
It's so hard to find legitimate vegan cheese, like vegan cheese that doesn't taste like foot. Which cheese tastes like anyway?
Or just doesn't taste like anything.
Well,
I don't know what the shredded mozzarella and cheddar that we used to get is.
Oh no, I don't like that.
But the nut-based, like the cashew cheeses that we've found recently. You follow us on, subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll share them.
Yeah.
They had
They have the cheese bite.
Yes, there's like a sharp cheddar that we used on chili recently. That was very good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, guys. Anyways, yeah. Ending now.
We digress.
Let us know what you think and share your thoughts with us.
That's right.
Sorry, Gracie's rifling. Gracie's rifling through my tax forms.
There you go.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
That's right. And we will see you next week on Those Annoying Vegans.
How annoying are we, really? So annoying. So annoying. All right, Gracie. Oh, no. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.